Tanya Steele, editor-in-chief of Epicurious.com, and you're watching Around the World in 80 Dishes. Today we're going to Argentina to make flank steak with chimichurri sauce. And we're making it with my buddy here, Chef Lynne Gigliotti of the CIA. Yeah. And Chef, the crew has been very anxiously anticipating this particular recipe. This is probably one of the favorite ones that we'll have ever done in Around the World, because it's a very simple, very tasty, very yummy recipe, right?
It is. It's delicious.
All right, we do this together. Tell me what to do first.
So we're going to take some coriander, some cumin, some black pepper, some salt, make a little spice rub.
Okay.
Well, let's a little bit more salt, a little bit more salt, a little bit more salt.
Oh,
be generous with the salt.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I say.
I know.
No salt, no fat, no flavor. Perhaps at the expense of my health, but hey.
You only live once, right?
I only live once. Now, what I like to do is just put a little bit of oil on the steak, just so that the spice rub adheres to the
and
steak.
is that olive oil? It looks like olive oil.
Olive oil.
Yep.
Olive oil is always good. A little bit of olive oil on it.
And the great thing about flank steak is it's really inexpensive, and it's a tough cut of meat, but once you marinate it, or there are different things you can do.
Once you marinate it, it becomes really flavorful. It takes on the flavor of the marinade. And the nice thing about flank steak is if you get it trimmed up by your butcher, you want to get it trimmed because it'll come with a little fat cap here. It'll have a little silver skin there. Get it all trimmed up nicely. Take it home. If you don't overcook it and you slice it nice and thin, you will think that it is an extremely tender piece of meat.
Yeah.
So now we've got it all nicely rubbed up with the spice rub.
So it's a nice wet rub, right?
Yeah. Make sure you get all that spice rub up off the plate.
Okay.
Now you're going to put it on a nice broiler pan.
And you can put it on the grill, you can put it on the broiler. This recipe is for broiling it, but you can actually do it in the grill.
Yeah, traditionally it's done on an open fire, but for all of you apartment dwellers that, you know, can't have an open fire in your apartment, this is the perfect way to get it done.
Okay.
So now we're going to make the chimichurri sauce.
And this sauce is, I mean, this is Argentina. I mean,
Absolutely.
This is served with everything, and I can eat this just with bread. I mean, it's so, so tasty.
In other countries, this might be considered a salsa verde. So it's a green sauce. So we've got the parsley, the cilantro. We're going to put the garlic in. We're going to do the cayenne. We are going to put some salt and pepper. And we're going to put the olive oil in first. I'm not going to put the vinegar in until after I've pureed everything, because the vinegar is going to turn the cilantro and the parsley army green if it sits in there too long.
Okay.
So, first thing we're going to do is do this with the olive oil.
So what you're looking for is kind of
an even consistency. I want to make sure my garlic is all chopped up so that one of my guests doesn't get a big clove of garlic. But I love garlic, but maybe not. Maybe somebody doesn't love garlic that much.
Yeah.
Now that it looks good, I'm going to put the vinegar in.
And this is white wine vinegar?
This is white wine vinegar. You can use champagne vinegar. White wine vinegar has a nice flavor, and it doesn't interfere with the color of the chimichurri sauce. And now you got this beautiful bright green sauce.
And could you make this a day ahead and stick it in the fridge?
If you want to make this a day ahead, I'm going to tell you not to put the vinegar in it a day ahead, because when you come the next day, it's going to be a lovely shade of army green.
I see.
So it's not going to look that good. And now we're going to check on our flank steak.
All right.
I've already flipped it once. It's looking good. It's got some nice color on it.
Oh, good.
And it looks pretty tasty.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby.
Here we go. We're just going to take that off of our broiler sheet. We're going to let it rest before we cut it.
So 10 minutes is what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, 10 minutes. Let it rest for 10 minutes so it doesn't bleed out. When you apply heat to a piece of meat, it forces all the moisture into the middle of the piece of meat. When you let it rest, it kind of redistributes itself, kind of comes back out to the sides, and then everybody's got a nice juicy cut of meat. After we've let it rest for 10 minutes, we're going to cut it. I like to cut it on an extreme bias, and I like to cut it very, very thin.
You have to have a sharp knife to do this.
You absolutely do have to have a sharp knife. It should be a slicing knife. When you're slicing meats, slice them and leave them in the order that you sliced them. Kind of leave them together, because that way the meat stays warm, it stays moist, it doesn't get all dried out. And I think this is going to be good.
Yeah. Wow.
How's that?
That is just one beauty. I think we need to.
It's delicious. I think we need to taste it. What do you think?
Yep.
This is the dish we could fight over.
Definitely.
I mean, we get along really well, but
Ordinarily,
but I could fight you for this dish.
This is going to asunder us apart.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. That is beautiful.
That's delicious.
Well, Chef, as always, you've taken me to the promised land, and I've
Thank
arrived,
you.
and I'm never leaving.
Thank you. I'm just going to continue to eat this, if you don't mind.